Okay, Year 7, welcome to your video tutorial on dividing decimals. Today we are going to look at dividing by a decimal by a whole number and then dividing decimals by other decimals. Okay, it's similar to multiplication, okay, and there are countless real-world applications that involve the divisions of decimals. You're required to do it lots of time in life. But unlike multiplying decimal numbers, where we basically just say, ignore the decimal points like we have been for the last few lessons, with division, we try to manipulate the question in such a way as to prevent dividing by a decimal number. What am I talking about? Okay, let's think back to multiplication. Remember when we were doing multiplication, I said, okay, for the moment, ignore the decimal points, do the multiplication, and we'll add the decimal points in at the end. And it was really quite easy. This time we can't just ignore the decimal points. We actually have to change or manipulate the question as we go. We can't just wait to the end. And you're going to see how that works today. Okay. With division of decimals by whole numbers, just put another little heading. These are the two things I need you to remember, okay? We just complete it as normally as we would any other division question, okay? So when we were looking at whole numbers at the very start of the year and we looked at dividing, you do it in exactly the same way. But you have to remember to put your decimal points under your decimal points. And I'll show you what I mean by that. Decimal points under decimal points. That's the main thing to remember. So let's look at these two examples. Before we begin, I'm going to start using some language that I want you to be able to also use, okay? When we call something a divisor, okay, that is the number by which we're dividing, okay? In this example for A, it is 3. For this example in B, it is 4. That's our divisor, or the number that we are dividing the other thing by. Okay, so I'm going to call it a divisor, okay, and you need to be able to call it that too, okay. Now, when we do division, we know it goes like this, okay. Our divisor goes on the outside, so 3 goes here, and the rest of the number goes in exactly as it's written, 42.837. Okay, so again, with division, just a quick reminder, we go the divisor into the first number and then we carry if we need to. Okay, 3 goes into 4 once as a whole number with our remainder of 1. 3 goes into 12 4 times. Now, this is the decimal point under decimal point bit. If the next thing is a decimal point, we must make sure our decimal point is at the same spot on the question. See how they line up and it looks like there's a decimal point under the top decimal point? That's what you have to make sure you do. Okay, so 3 goes into 8 twice with a remainder of 2. 3 goes into 23 7 times with a remainder of 2. And then 3 goes into 27 9 times. So our answer for 42.837 divided by 3 is 14.279. Okay, let me do one more example. Okay, so our divisor goes of 4, goes on the outside for B, and we go divided by, and we put our number on the inside. Okay, and it's 0.0234. Okay. Now you'll notice we have some zeros, and we remember to place a 0 in the answer every time the divisor doesn't go in, or every time there's a number less than the divisor, so it can't go in as a whole time. Okay, so 4 into 0, okay, it can't go in, so I write 0. Decimal points under decimal points, okay, put that at the exact same spot. So that was the 4 into 0. 4 into the next 0, 0 times. Okay, I'm showing you exactly what I'm doing this time. 4 into 2. Okay, 4 does not go into 2 as a whole number because 2 is less than 4. So 0, and then I carry that 2. So that next number now becomes 23. So 2 into 23 goes, 4 into 23 goes 5 times with a remainder of 3. Okay, 4 goes into 34 8 times. Now, 4 goes into 34 8 times. 8 fours are 32, but I have no numbers left. What do I do? If I still have a remainder and I have no numbers at the left at the end of my decimal, I put a 0. And I keep on putting zeros as many times as I need. So 4 goes into 34, well 4 8s are 32. So that's 8 times with a remainder of 2. 4 goes into 20, 5 times. So additional zeros may be required at the end in order to finish it off, and you just keep on putting them as long as you need them. Okay, that's dividing by a whole number. When we divide decimals by other decimals, okay, it gets a little bit different, okay? Just remember, do the same to both parts of the question. So for the number that you're trying to divide and the divisor, okay? So number trying to divide and the divisor. And the divisor. To both of them, we need to do the same thing. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that. Okay, so it's saying calculate 62.316 divided by, oh, look at my divisor this time, 0.03. That's not a whole number. I need to be able to divide by a whole number. Now, if I move the decimal point in the first divisor 2 places, in order to keep the answer the same, I must move the decimal point 2 places in the number that I'm trying to divide. If I've moved it in my divisor, I must move it in my question. And by doing so, I'll get the exact same answer. Okay, so this time I'm dividing, if my decimal point's there, my divisor is now 3, and my number that I'm dividing by, so my decimal point will be here, is 6,231.6. So 3 divided by that wrote 6,3. What a silly Billy. 6,231.6. See how our decimal point has changed in the number that we're trying to divide? If I change it in my divisor, I must change it in my number as well. So let's do it as we have before. 3 into 6 goes twice. 3 into 2 I cannot do, so there's a 0 and a remainder of 2. Okay, 3 into 23, well that goes 7 times, that's 3 7s are 21, with a remainder of 2. Okay, 3 into 21 goes 7 times, decimal points under decimal points, and then 3 into 6 goes twice. Okay, so my answer for this is 2077.2. That's it, guys. Look at this next example for B. Now, it's 0.03152 divided by 0.002. Interesting. Okay. 1, 2, 3 places to make my divisor a whole number, which means I must move 1, 2, 3 places in this number. So the number I'm dividing now is 31.52, and I'm dividing it by 2. So I pop my 2 in there, 31.52, and I begin my division. 2 into 3 goes once with a remainder of 1. 2 into 11 goes 5 times. Decimal points under decimal points with a remainder of 1. 2 into 15 goes 7 times with a remainder of 1. And last but not least, 2 into 12 goes 6 times. So my answer for 0.03152 divided by 0.002 is 15.76. And that's it, guys. particularly with these ones here, just be careful. If you change the divisor into a whole number by moving the decimal place, you must move the same amount of decimal places in the number you're trying to divide. Okay? And if you know that, you'll be off to a great start.